Hey, eighth graders. Just wanted to do a quick review of what expository writing looks like. I know we just spent some time doing argumentative, and so just to kind of refresh what expository is. When you do the state test here in a couple of weeks, you're going to be asked to write a multi paragraph response to two different prompts, one each day. So, one prompt is going to be argumentative, one prompt is going to be expository. Argumentative has your intro, which has your claim. It has your body paragraphs, which have evidence, strong explanation. And then in argumentative, there's the counterclaim rebuttal paragraph, and then a good conclusion. Expository, very similar. You just don't have an argument or you don't have a counterclaim or rebuttal paragraph. So you're actually going to be you're one paragraph less, essentially, if you are writing an expository essay, but you will be asked to do both. Okay. And it may not point out, write an expository response, but you can kind of tell based on the prompt if it is expository or argumentative. Argumentative is going to ask you to state a position or state a claim or create a claim. And you're going to be able to tell if you're going to have to argue your point, whereas expository is more explaining or summarizing or just kind of really just elaborating on things and making a stronger connection and just giving detail about what you know about what you've read. So you guys yesterday read Why Are Your Clothes So Cheap, that article. And then today you are reading a newsella about a factory collapse, same factory collapse that was in the Scholastic Scope, but a different piece of writing. So you are going to use both of these articles and you're going to write an expository response. In this instance, your response or your prompt is to explain what factors have contributed to the predicament of garment workers in overseas factories. So look at big factors that have caused issues, caused problems for garment workers in factories overseas. Okay, so what are some problems that they've experienced? A multi-paragraph response, it says right here, needs to be based on passages. So you're going to have evidence. You need to have a strong intro, strong conclusion. But here it says what factors have contributed. Factors, go with two. Okay. Typically, two body paragraphs is strong. Sometimes you'll have three. But two body paragraphs, as long as they're strong, is good. Okay. So we included an outline for you. But just some requirements. Don't forget your intro, start with a hook, okay? And then you need to have your thesis statement at the end, and it needs to reflect the prompt. So it needs to talk about, here's the prompt again, the factors that contributed to the problem with garment workers, okay? So your thesis needs to talk about the prompt. Include transition words. You guys should know transition words at this point. Make sure that you're using your resources. If you kind of forget, there's videos for you. There's links on Schoology in the writing folder. Make sure you know what transition words look like. And then at the very bottom, your last paragraph is your conclusion. And if you remember, you need to restate your thesis statement to kind of bring your conclusion or bring your essay together. And then you want to have a really strong so what statement. That's something to think about for your reader, okay? And then you'll want to have 4 pieces of evidence, okay? 2 per passage. You are going to have 2 passages to read from, and you're going to need to include evidence from both. Make sure it's properly cited. Use the author's name at the end, paragraph number, page number, okay? Make sure then after you have evidence, your explanation needs to be awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We have worked on that. That is a skill that needs to be really shown in your writing, okay? And then try to use direct quotes and paraphrases. Remember, direct quotes are directly from the text. Paraphrase is where you put it in your own words, but you still have to cite it. If you don't cite it and you put it in your own words, you're still not doing what you're supposed to do. You have to say where it came from. So we have an outline provided for you, 4 paragraphs. Okay. The goal for expository is 4 paragraphs. Remember, you're just explaining and you're explaining it well. With argumentative, you're going to add in that counterclaim rebuttal. So expository, 4 paragraphs. So you have your intro. Intro is typically short. You have your hook, which question, quote, things like that. You need to use your resources, watch the videos, but you need to be able to write a hook, don't get stuck on it. If you're getting stuck, go back and write it later. Okay. So your hook, and then you need a background on each text. Okay. Either give a background on the issue or give a background on the text, but make sure that you mention what the texts are. And then the thesis statement is going to talk about the problems faced by garment workers, and mentioning both texts is important. Okay. So then you'll move on. Body paragraph. You're going to continue to talk about your thesis. Stay focused to your thesis. And then your first body paragraph is about one factor that contributes to the problems in overseas garment factories. You are going to have two pieces of evidence, but your explanation is going to be super duper duper strong. And don't forget at the end of your body paragraph to revisit your thesis because you don't just kind of want your paragraph to hang. You want it to stay focused to the prompt. So if you revisit your thesis, that's perfect. Okay. Same thing, second body paragraph, a second factor that contributes to the problem. Okay. Again, sum it back up at the end of your thesis. Make sure you have a topic sentence that addresses the problem, transition words, two pieces of evidence, super strong explanation. Okay. And then the last thing you're going to have is your conclusion. Kind of re-mention your hook. If it's a question, answer it. Okay. If it's a quote, don't restate the quote, but bring it up again. Okay. You're going to want to then revisit your thesis statement, revisit the issue, kind of revisit what the problem is. And then your so what is that really good, like, here's what we need to do. Now, since this is about a problem, you could have a call to action. Okay. So here's what we need to do to fix it. So very similar to argumentative, but just a reminder, you do not have a counterclaim rebuttal in this. Okay. There's some transition words here on the paper. I do want to show you, this is not the same prompt, but this is an example expository. You have your hook, and then you have your background information on the text, and then the thesis statement has your factors, has what you're talking about at the end of your intro, so you know where you're going with your writing. Body paragraph with your evidence, and then you just really push yourself with your explanation. Very similar to what we've just done, but it doesn't, like I said, doesn't have the counterclaim rebuttal. And then you really want to have your so what, your last sentence that's really going to bring it home. So remember, all those videos are in Schoology in the video section. You also have examples for you, you have resources for you, and you have us. So the goal is, though, to be able to flash write and write quickly, because when it comes to the state testing environment, it is timed, and you're going to have to read and write and do it all quickly. So don't get stuck on certain things. Don't forget, you can come back and add it in later. Just remind yourself, I can do this, I've got this. Because you do. And what you're going to do is then when time is up, but you're going to have written something awesome because you can write fast, you can write well while you're writing fast. So make us proud, and don't forget to ask if you have any questions. Thanks.